15 years, blowing the doors off the competition. Podcasting to planet Earth.
PNRNetworks.com.
This podcast is a member of the Blueberry Network. Blueberry. No E's. That's Blueberry, BLUBRRY.com. Blueberry.com.
This podcast is a proud member of the Lamb Podcasting Network. Find the network at largeassmovieblogs.com.
This is a Class 1 emergency. All civilian traffic is barred from streets and highways. Stay in your homes. Stay in your homes. Stay in your homes. Repeat, this is a Class 1 emergency. All civilian traffic is barred from streets and highways.
Do not panic. Do not panic. We've got the quirky films for your quarantine blues. Subject Cinema presents Captive Audience Theater with T.C. Kirkham and Kim Brown.
You know, I absolutely detest it when a movie takes the title of a popular episode of a television series. Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what happened with this.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to see Commander Decker or Captain Decker or whatever or anybody else in this piece of...
Nope.
Welcome to Subject Cinema Presents Captive Audience Theater. I'm T.C. Kirkham.
I'm Kim Brown.
If you haven't guessed already...
Yeah.
1967, 72's The Doomsday Machine.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. This film, ironically enough, has
if you could actually call it that.
Yeah. This sort of film, this Frankenfilm, you can actually call it a Frankenfilm.
Yep.
Because it was sewn together from parts of different films over a span of years. Actually,
they finished the film, but it was 5 years after they started it, with none of the original cast.
None of the original cast, none of the original sets, and no one caring. And by the time this film came out, we'd already been into space, so people could sit there and go, "That's not the way that works." None of it. But this film does share a title with a terrific episode from the original series of Star Trek, The Doomsday Machine. Awesome episode. Yeah. I love that one. That's great.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, this movie has so much illogic in it, I think Spock would actually have a nosebleed. So, the story begins as a spy movie, not a science fiction movie. So when the movie doesn't know what kind of movie it is from the beginning...
Well, it's kind of trying to be a little James Bond, a little NASA, maybe a little Austin Powers.
A little bit country, a little bit rock and roll, and a whole lot of pain.
Yeah.
So...
A little bit of Sherlock Holmes thrown in, too.
Don't you insult Sherlock.
Well, I'm just saying.
A spy has made their way into China and found out that those commie bastards have... built a doomsday device
dun, dun, dun.
Capable of destroying the entire planet, which seems monstrously counterproductive, but, you know, whatever. I mean, because the last time I looked, China was part of the planet, so,
the key only Mao has.
Yes. So that gives you a date of when this movie was done. And that it could be activated in 72 hours. So start having sex now. And nope, no, it's not that kind of movie either.
Actually it kind of is, but not that way.
That could have at least been an interesting movie. The spaceship Astra, which is supposed to be going on a 2-year mission to Venus, has the time when it's supposed to be going. They're like, no, you need to go now. And some of the crew is replaced. And the crew, which was originally an all-male crew, is partially replaced with some female-type women of the opposite sex, which doesn't really go very well with...
Now, you leave him out of this. He's in the Deadly Mantis. He's not in this movie. Him and his opposite sex women, honestly.
Butterfly on a lily pad. I hated that character. But you have to admit, some of the astronauts are like, women? We're going to have women on this flight?
They are.
And they're upset about that.
Yep. Well, they think women are incompetent. They're just there for, sex and babies.
And scratch your balls, spit, that kind of thing. I'm like, you want these Neanderthals to be up on a rocket ship? Okay.
Yeah.
So apparently we ran out of one kind of monkey and decided to use these, anyway. So moving... Sorry, a chimp.
And one of the women is a Russian.
She's a Russian, but she's not Chinese, so that makes her lesser of two evils, I guess. I don't know. So
North Korea apparently doesn't figure into it at this point.
No, I guess not. So after they get going onto the ship and they blast off, the military alerts start going off. And so there are 7 members of the crew, and they realize that what's actually been done is that they are supposed to be the people that are going to be kicking off the human race again if the Chinese actually set this thing off.
Well, they wouldn't do anything like that, would they?
Yeah. As the people look on from horror from the rocket ship leaving Earth, the Doomsday Machine is activated and the Earth is destroyed.
Boom!
You maniacs! You blew it up! Gosh darn you! Hold the heck!
Oh, okay, number 1. Wrong movie. Number 2, way too high for Chuck Heston.
Number 3, estrogen.
I know.
Estrogen, these...
And number 4, that's a paraphrase. You changed the wording.
I don't swear like that. I'm a lady.
Listen to her shows.
I won't say certain things.
No, you won't.
No, I won't. So there.
Including that particular phrase that Chuck says in that particular sequence. Anyway.
So there.
Yeah,
anyway.
true enough.
Yeah.
Well, you couldn't drop the F-bomb back then.
No.
Anyway.
That would have been funny as beep. Anyway. So the Earth is destroyed and this bunch of nitwits are supposed to kickstart the human race.
Such an accurate description.
We are well and truly forked.
These men are supposed to be the epitome of the human race.
Yep.
They are, well thought of military. They are astronauts.
They're
they are
supposed to
working
have the
for
right
the United
stuff.
States. For the United States space program.
Mm-hmm.
So what do? As soon as Earth blows up, start trying to rape the women.
Yeah.
Really?
I'm sorry. Oh
my God.
When did we go from the right stuff to meh? They'll do. As TC mentioned, they realize that, and we find out as they're going along toward Venus, which the last time I looked couldn't take human life anyway, doesn't support human life, and I think they knew that by the 60s.
Yeah. But it's science fiction. Just saying.
Okay. Using science fiction as a crutch only takes you so far.
Yeah, it does.
So they realize that not only is Earth destroyed, so they can't go back there, they can't safely land on Venus unless the ship only has 3 people on it. Right now, there are 7 people on it. So that means 4 people guts to go. That makes things real tense. And stuff gets even more tense when one of the guys goes completely snafu-y and tries to sexually assault one of the women, and her trying to get away from him, she manages to hit the airlock and they're both sucked out. I'm like, well, there's half your problem solved.
Yeah.
I realized that was really, really cold. But, so space. So anyway, so 2 more members of the crew go out to try and fix part of the spaceship, and they wind up getting killed. One of them is
no, they don't.
It looks like they get killed.
They thought they got killed, but they really didn't.
No. They go out to get to try and repair something that's wrong with the ship, and it looks like they're lost in space.
Da 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 da. Oh, wrong show. Anyway.
Oh,
better show. Anyway,
you know a movie's bad when you really wish for a Dr. Smith cameo.
Well, at this point, we lose all cameos because it's at this point where it suddenly jumps to the footage from 5 years later.
Yeah.
And the people in it are in spacesuits that do not show any faces.
Yeah, because they're not the same actors.
And that's the way it goes for the rest of the film.
Yeah. They're not the same. They're not the same actors, and the voices aren't the same. Okay, anyway. So, Danny, who was one of the crew members, and Major...
The only good guy, really.
Major Bronsky, who is the lady Russian cosmonaut, float over to this other ship and jump on it. As it turns out, it's a Soviet ship. And the person that was the pilot of the ship was a friend of Major Bronsky. Unfortunately, they too have joined the ranks of the living impaired. And, they're dead. They're dead. But there's enough power to get the ship going. So that's a good thing. But
we're just going to give it a kick in the engine. Hey, there it goes.
So they hit Control-Alt-Delete, and the ship gets going again. The problem is they can't contact the Astra. Apparently they can't even see the Astra again, probably because they're in another movie.
Yeah, really.
Now, when it seems like all is completely lost...
Do we want to go any further here? Because this is giving away the end of the movie, and we don't usually do that.
Nope.
We want to warn people about this. Okay,
because
go
we
ahead.
figure here...
Just wanted to give you the...
Yeah, as we say here at Captive Audience Theater, if we have to suffer, you have to suffer. And man, oh man, is suffering part of this film. But we'll let you look into the third act, the unbelievable third act, on your own.
Oh, so you aren't going to give it away?
No.
Okay. Yeah, there's an enormous number of people who should have known better with this film. Bobby Van as Danny. This is one of his early film roles.
Wasn't that guy in Lost Horizon?
Yes, he was. He was in a lot of stuff in the 70s.
World is a circle, huh? Not anymore.
Oh, Ruta Lee as Dr. Marion Turner. She's best known as Alex Trebek's Dice Lady on the original High Rollers.
Google it.
Huh?
Google it.
Yeah. Mala Powers as Dr. Georgianne Bronsky. I'd love to know if she's related to Stephanie Powers. She looks like her. James Craig as Dr. Haynes. Grant Williams, really, as Major Matt. Oh, no, not Matt. Major Kurt Mason. Not Major Matt Mason. That's a movie with Tom Hanks coming up. And guest spots, small little bit parts for Casey Kasem and Mike Farrell. Casey Kasem plays a mission control officer, and Mike Farrell as a reporter.
And Denny Miller, one of the people that stepped into the loincloth at one point in their career.
That's right.
Has played both Tarzan, Lord of the Jungle, and the Gorton's Fisherman. Go figure that one out. I dare you. Okay, this film...
movie. This movie is. We're going to be honest. This movie is best watched with Cinematic Titanic. You will not get through it on your own.
No.
It is that bad. Mm-hmm. It's free on YouTube, but you can, if you have Shout Factory, it should be over there on the Cinematic Titanic channel.
It is.
I'm like, oh my God, really? This movie is terrible. I mean, it's truly terrible.
Sucks.
We saw a terrible print, number one. The print that they had for Cinematic Titanic was awful.
Yeah.
And it literally shifts at the like 20 minutes to go mark with nothing from the original cast, nothing from the original crew. There's no sets, it's all stuff that was shot 5 freaking years after.
Because I think they ran out of money or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, this movie is a mess. Directed by 3 people, which should give you some kind of an idea of what we're dealing with. The Doomsday Machine sucks. It sucks. It's horrible. It hurts. It's scientifically ridiculous. It's not even wonderfully bad. It's just bad.
Yeah, this is one of those so bad it's painful movies.
Yeah. And if you are a person...
And the script is terrible, too. If it had a decent script, which in the first 10 minutes, the intrigue stuff with the Chinese government stuff, it actually shows a little promise. And then it goes straight into the toilet with the scenes where the astronauts are getting introduced to the lady replacements, and they're all like, "Oh, women, we don't need women.
Bad."
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And it just goes straight downhill from there. I mean, it's terrible. And the footage the films were gone, the sets were gone, the stars were gone. New voiceovers, they didn't even get the stars come in to do voiceovers. It's just awful.
It's terrible.
It's one of the worst films ever made.
If you are a person that is triggered by an act or an attempted act of sexual violence, you've been warned up front.
And if you believe it, don't want to watch a doomsday scenario thing, we actually do get to see the Earth destroyed. Yeah. In this movie, because one of the guys is watching it go from the viewer,
with footage that looks like it's from a Japanese kaiju movie or some kind of a Japanese disaster film. Yeah. It's just got that look to it, like the set look to it.
Yeah, it's really, really terrible.
It is.
I mean, I'll be honest. This is one of those. We've had a couple of them this year, where I have actually said, we've watched this, we've suffered, and this time we don't want you to suffer and don't want you to watch this, but you really should, just to check out the differences between the rest of the movie and the last 20 minutes. Yeah. It's so ridiculously...
There is only one category that we would categorize this film in. Just no. That's it. Just no. That is where this film belongs, in the just no category.
This film has also an alternative title, Escape from Planet Earth.
Yep.
Which is what shows up occasionally on video, so you can avoid it like the plague.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's free. It's on YouTube. If you have Shout Factory on your Roku or your smart TV, it's free there too. But, it's like, at least the cinematic Titanic makes it somewhat bearable.
If you feel like you can Misty it yourself and you have that kind of iron spine, be my guest.
You won't be able to. I honestly, because this movie is one of those movies that is so terrible, no matter what you do to make it funny, it's not going to happen. Cinematic Titanic tried, and this is their Red Zone Cuba. This movie is that bad. It's just so terrible. You can't save it, even with the best riffs. And that one has 5 people. That's got Trace, Mary Jo, Frank, Joel, and Elvis. J. Elvis.
Yep.
So that's a hard... If they can't make it really good, they tried their best. If they can't make it really good, you got a problem. Oh God!
You've heard the saying, "You can't make a silk's purse out of a sow's ear." This is an entire pig pen.
And we all know you can't put lipstick on a pig. This is never going to look good.
And you can't roller skate in a buffalo herd.
Okay. Anyway, Doomsday Man from 1967 released.
Doomsday Machine, honey. Doomsday Machine.
What did I say?
You said Doomsday Men.
Oh, sorry, that's a Tomorrow People reference. That happens.
I was going, how long is it going to take for one of us to slip up and do that?
There's an episode called The Doomsday Men of the Tomorrow People, which is one of our favorite shows from the 70s. Anyway, The Doomsday Machine. If you want to watch The Doomsday Machine, watch Star Trek, The Doomsday Machine. Much better show. We will continue to be doing these bad movies over the course of the next couple of months as we get through the summer with all the craziness going on. We hope if you're in a part of the country right now that's spiking, that you stay indoors. Please stay safe.
Wear a mask.
Please mask up. Don't be one of these ignorant yahoos that isn't, I don't care. Mask up. Protect yourself and others.
Yeah.
And
call your grandma.
Don't forget also, if you want to laugh about what's going on, there's a great Instagram site that is being done in is it Queens or Brooklyn? At a Trader Joe's, near a Trader Joe's in Brooklyn, made the news last week. People waiting around the block in line are so loud, the people in the house that's right next to the Trader Joe's have been copying some of the stuff, putting them on hilarious signs, and they're worth it. Look for Trader Joe's signs, and you'll laugh yourself sick. Yep. Some of them are so funny.
If you want to follow me on Twitter, you can do that on PlatinumRoselle at Twitter.com.
I'm at eCinema1 for our regular movie stuff, eCinema Boston for Boston-centric stuff, and I'm really getting active again on my TKR Online as I do some more music stuff on my website, The Kirkham Report. You can also get news and updates on eCinema1.com, eCinema Boston, Ring Around the Rosie for Ken's wrestling stuff, and the rest of our stuff is going as best as it can. Keep an eye out for Ring Around the Rosie, Catastrophe Vortex, and Tuesday Digidex, and hopefully by the end of August we'll have Front Row 5 and 10 back up as well. And maybe, if the theaters do reopen at the end of the month, 3-Minute Weekend will be back too.
And we hope you also check out our friends Eric and Valerie Lyon over at Cave Babble. They do some great stuff over there.
They do at cavebabble.com.
And I think that's going to wrap things up.
It is. We hope you will not have to put yourself through this, but it's.
But if you do, we've warned you.
We've warned you, and we hope that you'll just be curious enough to actually put yourself through the pain of Doomsday Machine. Until next time, for Captive Audience Theater, I'm T.C. Kirkham.
I'm Kim Brown.
May your popcorn always be buttered.
And may your roses always be in bloom.
Oh, God, it's over. Thank goodness.
I need an ice cream.
You've been listening to Subject Cinema Presents Captive Audience Theater with Kim Brown and T.C. Kirkham. Produced by PNRNetworks, Boston, Massachusetts.
Years, blowing the doors off the competition, podcasting to planet Earth.
PNRNetworks.